Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, President Corrett, for the very, very generous introduction and for your lifetime of commitment to public higher education. You are doing a fantastic job as president of UMass. We're glad you're here. 3 years has gone by quickly. I want to thank you, Lynn, and the whole UMass team for putting together today's summit, and to the Patriots Organization for hosting us this morning. I want to acknowledge Secretary Goldstein, who is here, our Labor Secretary, and the other members of our team. I see some of them here this morning. I want to congratulate Kelly Powers, STEM Teacher of the Year. All right. All right. That's really great. Very, very proud of you. I want to also acknowledge Congressman Joe Kennedy, the honorary chair of the Governor's STEM Advisory Council, as you all know. Congressman Kennedy is a member of the House Committee on Science and Technology, a member of the Congressional STEM Caucus, and an engineer by training. He regrets that he could not be with us in person this morning, but we appreciate his active engagement, and we will have a chance, as you have heard in just a moment, to hear from him by video feed. By video feed, right? It's all been tested and everything, right? Okay, in just a minute or two. And I want to thank and acknowledge all of you. Most importantly, thank you for being here. You are twice in number what you were when I was last here 2 years ago. As my grandmother would say, look at you now. Your presence here today speaks loudly about how critical STEM education is to your schools and organizations, to our workforce and regional economies, and to the Commonwealth's future. Sustaining and widening Massachusetts' leadership in STEM is not only in our collective economic self-interest, but also serves our generational responsibility to provide the best possible opportunities to stimulate the minds and broaden the potential of our children and our grandchildren. Indeed, I want to take just a little time at the podium today to place what you are doing in a larger context. I have spoken often over the past several years about how we support public education and close achievement gaps, how we expand affordable health care and control costs, how we stimulate innovative industries, how we rebuild our roads, rails, and bridges. Over and over again, I've stressed the importance of investing in education, in innovation, and in infrastructure because that is a winning strategy for growth. That's all about how. As we all look ahead, as leaders in both education and workforce development, and as Massachusetts citizens, let's remember why growth matters. For me, it's all about opportunity. The opportunity to build a better life for ourselves and our families is what drives, I suspect, most of us in this room. We have a generational responsibility to position our state to succeed in the 21st century, and meeting that responsibility by expanding opportunity for people all over Massachusetts is why I wanted this job in the first place. Well, opportunity requires growth. An expanding economy needs well-prepared and competitive talent. It needs inventors and investors and innovators. Opportunity without growth is just a zero-sum gain. It's just about rearranging the pieces on a checkers board. Opportunity through economic growth lifts us all. That growth comes mainly from the private sector. Business creates jobs, not government. In my private sector experience, what business wanted first from government is a light touch on regulation and taxes. And so we eliminated or simplified over 130 unnecessary regulations, reduced the permitting time for state approvals from about a year to less than 60 days, cut business taxes 3 times so far, slowed the growth in health care premiums, and much more. By any reasonable measure, Massachusetts is a more competitive place for business today than it was 7 years ago. But another larger lesson I learned in the private sector is that growth requires investment. And to support business growth and the opportunity that depends on it, government must invest alongside business. So for the past 7 years, we have invested strategically in education, in innovation, and in infrastructure. Education is first because in Massachusetts, education is our calling card to the whole world. With some 300, yeah, go ahead and applaud yourselves. with over 300 colleges, universities, and research institutions within a 90-minute drive of where we all are right now, there is no other concentration of brain power quite like it on the planet. Education is as important to Massachusetts as oil is to Texas or corn is to Iowa. So we invest in education. With the legislature's help, we funded the public schools at the highest level in our history, even when the bottom was falling out of the state budget. As President Corrett said, we've begun to reverse a long period of decline in the public's role in public higher education, and I'm proud of that. We worked to bring kids off the wait list into quality early education programs and to make college more affordable. And we engaged our community colleges in the vital work of meeting our workforce needs, leveraging our training dollars. And students and teachers are responding. We are #1 in the nation in student achievement and have been for each of the last 6 years, at or near the top in the world in math and science. And I thank you for that. Keep it going. A focus on STEM has been central to that strategy. In 2009, as you know, we established the STEM Advisory Council to improve coordination and collaboration among existing STEM programs and resources. Under former Lieutenant Governor Tim Murray, the council developed and implemented the state's first STEM plan, a strategic approach to linking economic and workforce development to the enhancement of STEM education. Our regional STEM networks convene K-12 school districts, higher ed, businesses, not-for-profits, and local government agencies to align core strategies of the statewide STEM plan to local education and economic needs, a model now recognized nationally as best practice. Our at-scale initiative has been hailed as a breakthrough model for public-private funding to bring to scale transformative system-wide improvements in STEM education. And we're seeing the results. STEM interest among Massachusetts public school SAT takers has increased, especially so among girls, so that the interest gap between boys and girls is closing. Go ahead and yell out, it's all right. There has been a 10% increase in students scoring proficient or higher in science, technology, and engineering, and the achievement gap for Latino and African American students shrank at all levels between 2009 and 2013. Keep that going, too. The percentage of STEM bachelor's degrees earned by students at Massachusetts public and private colleges increased about 28% from 2007 to 2011. Massachusetts has been recognized by the NGA's Center for Best Practices, by Change the Equation, and by Innovate Plus Education as a top STEM state, and we scored #1 in the nationwide race to the top competition. A few weeks ago, I announced $36 million to replace Cape Cod Community College's science building, to modernize the campus's STEM resources. I see they're here. To modernize the campus's STEM resources and serve as an innovation center to meet our workforce needs. I mention them because with this project, our administration will have made STEM-specific investments at every single state and community college in the Commonwealth. And we are not done yet. I'm convinced that with a shared strategic focus, with true partnership among us all, and with increased integration between Voc Tech schools and community colleges, we can create more growth and opportunity. And that collaboration is a powerful thing. Massachusetts has a strong infrastructure of regional STEM networks, and I thank those of you who participate in them. Today, we add Metro North, the Metro North Regional STEM Network. Metro North has an array of successful STEM programs and industries, and we expect that network to weave these efforts into a regional strategy. The Metro North Regional Employment Board deserves credit for leading this new network, and I wish you the very best as you start your work together. For the community college leaders in the room, be aware of a $4.25 million grant program currently open for proposals. This program is designed to support our community colleges to inform, engage, retain, and recruit graduate significantly more students in STEM disciplines. And finally today, I can announce we are updating the state's STEM plan to launch the next vision of STEM education, although, Lynn, I think you said that is what Congressman Kennedy wants to do. Is that right? So I'm going to skip that part of my remarks so I don't step on his announcement, but it's very, very exciting. The point is this. This strategy is not rhetorical, it's real. This is how we use public investment of time, of money, of ideas, to grow, to stimulate private sector growth. But there is still so much more to do. Faster growth to support, more opportunity to expand. And after all, economic growth across the whole of the Commonwealth is our goal. The strategy of investing in education, in innovation, and in infrastructure is how we stimulate growth. And as I wrap up, I want to return to why that matters. Why economic growth and the opportunity it promises matters. Opportunity is not just a sort of rhetorical flourish. It is central to who we are as a nation. America, unlike any other nation in human history, is organized around a handful of civic ideals. Imagine that. Not religion or race, not ethnicity or geography or language, the way other countries are organized, but around transcendent statements of civic purpose. And we have defined those ideals over time and through struggle as equality, as freedom, and fair play. That's what America has been about for more people for longer than any other nation in human history. Well, opportunity is what makes all those other civic ideals possible. Without opportunity, those civic ideals are just rhetorical flourishes. Each generation has had to sacrifice, has had to plan, has had to invest in order for opportunity to be real. It's not inevitable. It doesn't just happen. Whether it was freeing the slaves or giving women the vote in one era, the GI Bill, rural electrification, or the interstate highway system in another, or expanding broadband and early education and closing achievement and skills gaps today, making opportunity real requires action. And renewed action is critical today. In a society dedicated to equality, income equality is getting worse, not better. As we emerge from the global recession, those already college educated and with transferable skills are poised to take advantage of this brand new, wide open, knowledge-based job market. Those already with money benefit from the resurgent Dow. But the ability of people to bridge that gap is harder than ever. The poor are no longer just the abject destitute. Nearly half the people on food stamps in Massachusetts today are working people. Just a few weeks ago, the homeless population living in motels here in Massachusetts hit an all-time high, many of them school-aged children. Many middle-class families where both parents work still can't get ahead, let alone imagine a better life for their children. According to Opportunity Nation, for the first time in American history, today's young adults risk having lower educational attainment rates on average than their parents. Only 6% of children born to parents at the bottom, kids like me, make it to the top today. Many European countries see children with greater socioeconomic mobility today than those in the United States. The point is, the American dream is in trouble. For this Commonwealth and this country to be true to her civic ideals, opportunity has to be accessible to all our residents, not just the favored few. And again, opportunity requires action by all of us. That means we must make public investments mindful of the lack of opportunity, of the left out and the left back. If the American dream is to endure, we who benefit first from economic recovery need to care about those who benefit last or not at all. One of the traditions of Massachusetts governors is that you hang the portrait of a former governor over the fireplace in the governor's office. I don't know whether that's meant to be a source of inspiration or just a reminder that you were just one in a long line of others. I'll bet every one of my predecessors wondered at some point, as I do now, whether anything they accomplished would last. More than anything, I hope what lasts is a broad understanding that growth is a choice, ladies and gentlemen. It's a choice. And that opportunity for all is why that choice matters. For the sake of the next generation's opportunity, let's all choose wisely. Thank you again for having me this morning and for the work that you do. And now by video feed, you ready? Yep. Congressman Joe Kennedy.